that break. You're watching QTV, and we are broadcasting live from the IEC headquarters along the Batlading Highway, and we bring you live coverage of the nomination for the nominations from 4 independent candidates. So far, we have received 2. One from Joseph Hejuf and Maris Sok, who have already presented their nomination papers, and they have left. And next is going to be Alaji Mamadi Kurang. As you understand, Alaji Mamadi Kurang was actually born in Kudang, where he started his primary school and then came to St. Augustine in Banjul. He actually studied economics in Malaysia and also ACCA Chartered Accountancy, and later worked at a bank. He had served as secretary to the Janneh Commission, which was set up to inquire into the financial dealings of the then President Yahya Jammeh. He actually set up Jollof Tutors that he has been running for 20 years. Up next is Alaji Mamadi Kurang, a guy with vast experience. I mean, he served at the Janneh Commission as a secretary, which was set up to look into the financial dealings of former President Jammeh.
Thank you very much, Aliu. You have rightly said, Alhaji, well experienced in his trade of accounting.
Yes, Alaji Kurang is now arriving at the IEC city, as we are seeing on our screens. Yes, city.
Yes, right. Like you said earlier, I guess he's in the building or very close to the building. A lot of experience in terms of his trade in the field of finance and accounting. He's the founder of Jollof Tutors that have produced very good accountants, very good auditors for the last decades or more. And he was the secretary to the Janneh Commission, though he did not sit to see the lifespan of the commission. He had to resign or push, possibly you may say it, from the commission. He's a young guy. I think, if not the youngest, maybe. I think maybe the youngest. Because Marisok, we don't know her age, but we know her first child
is 32 years.
32 years old. So I guess Alaji Kurang is the youngest. Coming back on Marisok, I think we may say a little about her. She's one person who has been very busy.
Let's look at the experience of Alaji Kurang, and we'll get back to Marisok. Yes. Alaji Kurang is now about to enter the IEC building to present his nomination papers to the officials of the IEC.
That's right. Yes. Coming back on Alaji, he's been here for some time in terms of what he was doing in this country. Like you rightly said earlier, the Jollof Tutors has been here and has produced very good students. So he has actually done so much as far as his profession is concerned. Studied in St. Augustine High School, and he studied economics in Malaysia, and as a chartered ACCA accountant. Wonderful job. He has a trade that we know him of, which is finance. I think definitely we expect a lot more from him when he gets into this building, present his nomination papers, and he's going independent as well.
Jërëjëf Sidi mbokk yi nga xam ne yéen a seetaan QTV ñu ngi broadcast live comme ni ngeen ko nekk di gisee rek Alaji Kurang, Alaji Mamadi Kurang moo nekk di ex fi nga xam ne moo nekk IEC bi pour ñëw joxe papers pour wane bugam pour taxaw pour contest ci élection bi nga xam ne moo war a ñëw am moom nag dafa taxaw independent soo déggee independent moo nekk koo xam ne bokk ci benn parti eso Alaji Kurang mu ngi ñëw dugg ci fi nga xam ne moo nekk IEC building bi.
waaw Alaji Kurang yaakaar naa bokk na ci ñi nga xamante ne ràññee nañ la lool ci biir réew mi xam-xam màcc lool ci lu jëm ci wàllum jàngale ci li nga xamante ne moo jëm ci wàllum koom-koom spécialement nu koom-koom yi réew di doxee xam nañ tamit ne moom moo sos mbootaay bi ngeen a xamee wala bërëbu jàngukaay bi ngeen a xamee ci Jollof Tutors ndaw yu bëri jàngee fa mu bokkay tamit ci ñi nga xamante ne ñoo doon liggéey wala jiite lii di Janneh Commission bi nga xamante ne nguur tegoon na fi gannaaw bu wëcceeku nguur amee 2017 pour gëstuwaat nguur bi fi nekkoon ak ki ko jiite woon seen liggéey ci wàllum koom-koom ak ni ñu doon doxalee koom-koom yi réew mi kon moom kuñ ràññee la ci réew mi xam-xamam màcc lool ci wàllum economics waaye tamit li ci ëppa ci programme yi nga xamante ne nit ñi dañ koy am ci réew mi dañ dee faral di ko ci boole especially su demee ci wàllum économics na bokk na ci analyse yi nga xamante ne économique analyse yi nga xam ne am nañ ko ci réew mi te nit ñi jox leen cër lool kon moom bokk na ci ñi nga xamante ne ren bugg nañoo bokk ci élection bi taxaw sàkku li nga xamante ne moo di réew mi moom itamit agsi na fii ci biir kër gi te xam naa ci lu bañ a yàgg dina ñëw jàkkaarloog ci Yeman waaw da ngaa gis ne tamit Aliou am na loo xam ne bàyyi naa ko xel ci moom mooy ne ci candidats yi nga xamante ne ñoo jot a ñëwagum wala aspirants yi jot a ñëwagum depuis ci Joseph Diouf.
so dafa mel ni comme dafa mel ni unlike order ñu njëkk a ñëw ci seen alaaj ko mu ànd na ak mbooloo gaa yi ñu ngi no tàccu di fecca
waaw si loolu laa doon ñëw sax dafa mel ni gis nañ bu Joseph Diouf ñëwee moom ñaar nit la àndal may soog ñëw na ànd ak ñi nga xamante ne la moo liggéey mooy close aid sami bari wuñ ca Alaaji Mamadi Kurang dafa mel ni ubbi na géej gi fi mu nekk ci ñi nga xamante ne ñooy mbooloo bi toppal lii di aspirant bi moom nag ñëw na ak mbooloo gaa yi ci bunta bi te xam naa ci lu bañ a yàgg dinañ ñëw jàkkaarloog ci Yaman ak ay ñi nga xamante ne la moo liggéeyal pour moom it mu jox leen li nga xamante ne mooy kayit yi ñoo sàkku ci aspirant yi yëpp.
Well, the chairman, Ali Momar Njai, is already seated now, just waiting for the arrival of Alhaji Mamadi Kurang, who has been accompanied to the IEC by a sizable crowd who are out there, singing and dancing, trying to show their support to Mr. Kurang. I must say, one minute at the QTV, how do you want to IEC under the next pod at the one Alhaji Mamadi Kurang? Alhaji Mamadi Kurang kan konon ko kudang ojibina konon o ligi ma dor ngada o de jani commission kanko kadi darni o ko vite jolof tutos ngada ko be jangi tan be kulle computer ji e ko heewi hen so kanko fode at the next pour o jonira IEC kaytaji makoni sidi akamunta alay kurang afanande ani mo jamal natade
abaraka bake Aliou me tem momentu bi Alhaji Kurang mi yalon ka fanamu londi molti afangoye wala independent candidate nyinti afanam futata na dun kranyin to mo independent electoral commission ti jama sa election house ngajele biring mari sok nata wol jama mambule noma ko jama min bat noma Joseph Hedju fanang atani jama manna bare amante ko Alhaji Kurang atani jama nata nyin tembentu mba makawol moy kan mi atandi ko anin jama la futata na wole politiko dia dobina abini ani manyami benani ndobina ani manyami bena fatata abigol ko combatro nimbirol bendelu ko mbiro dobe ja ko mo ka bamba jamala karola mbiro dobe ja sa yole du mbiro dobe wolka sawne bula luwonyin kono woto nyen nyoborinta nyen eso Aliou nka jo kelo nyoborinta sampulol ti Gambia ni election avec les sampulol ti Gambia parce que nga mo jamaaje milbe dunka nyi nyo sabo kono ngam fo angale kan wala no Alhaji Kurang ala do ko nyi a pharmacie de Gambia banko kan parce que keda moti mi wuluta nyamina tada karamutu min keta Senegostin high school ti andu fana atada motu akeda moti mi yalan ko akaranta Malaysia economics karanje anza kodo maranya ko kisi nya ko ayole ko din kraltu andu sa foko fana atelo mo ninga manyi molbe la sanjol long bare nga min sobi Alhaji lon dindi ngoti mol mi yalon ko wolbe nyim banko nyene kan marisok mala sanjolong bare adim folo obe sanji tan saba anin kile anin fula ay sanji tan saba anin fula wodon sa fako misal fe Alhaji Kurang ati lon dindi ngoti nyim mol mbebe nyini ndro ke kan omo farman solti fondinkel la karola ko mara sokkete nyame musol la karola Alhaji fana mo fondinkelti meme fondinke ya tunkol to ka banko nyenyene woto mu kula anda keda moti mi yalon ko ala doku dinkra min keda jolof tutoste ay Gambia dingu jamane ta ke parayandi ila karango min keda accountancy lon fo mi yalon ko inada ka karango lafa banko jamato ka murunda nyim banko ka woto molo mi yalon ko ala farmanso a sediata ala katwa min ke banko ka akere bo fana de min sita commission to birim falindro kere Gambia banko kame jane commission mais skisiro ke masakunda min tarra yala nyaton ko min kete ya jambeti wo jane commission brabeje amamboje ya sawola parce que diamo do wuluteje wo kacha wo bonyintu fo anara ke modum yalon ko fintita wo ka fonyon ko ne sayne fono ate Alhaji Kurang karonya nyin temben ala kafo be bantola comme anen kafo min nadoro wobe kole ko sama kam pour ay futanan janna wala na ali wato do amanjare ni ka foyna parce que ka foñi ni nada fahamo bi ka taraje ko nyande danna dami ito lamere ni nada ro ila tombondirmo iba dandanal fo ani AIC chairman e si siran kili ya nyati ni nyola hani ibe danna dinkra doleto woto wo dinkra dandula wosina kole ko do samana parce que amere selam comme ñono lum folodi bawo television la ba bondika mol nyanda famula ni nada la candidat do samana amanke ko ba dandan na faya sindi siranka ibe danna dami anade bita dami abe metro kemeni fensoto la atema woto presa famo nyama pour ko kana tarde soto parce que candidat do Seattle woto nar kata nyaara anyanta la nyame wato fanante domola ko anyanta domola nyame ngaji ko wom kula mialon ko mol nyanda famulo nyam isela candidat do samana bare dandula la bele be danna dami aliya bulay tana ñoborom non ibida to safala ñoboron dinkranye do ali.
Well, so back to you. In terms of integrity, I mean, in one of his interviews, he said he is perhaps the only person who has never been, his image has never been tainted, not even under Jammeh's rule, and he believes he is the best candidate ahead of this election.
Well, in terms of integrity, I mean, to a larger extent, I do agree. I mean, this is the first time he's coming into the political fray, to participate, I mean, publicly in politics. I'm sure he's one of those newcomers, and yes, in terms of experience, in terms of he's got a good education as well. To a large extent, I agree. I mean, but I think it's also down to the fact that this is the first time, like I said, he's coming into the political fray.
ci lu gàtt ci olof rek yow nag nga gisee Alhaji Kurang taxawaayam pour mun a contest li nga ne mën nekk élection bi ndaw la yan chance la am ci élection bi nii xam nañ ne like ñu ngi wane ndaw yi ñoo form like almost over 60% of the population te moom ndaw la
soo bàyyee xel moom campagne am bi seen slogan bi mooy change mu ne waaye change bi ci fi mu ko si ñi mu ko gën a bëgg a si ñoo xamante ne ñoo nekk moom interest am ci li ëppa mu ne mooy ndaw ñi ak jigéen ñi moom nag yàlla def na ci ñi nga xamante ne ñooy taxaw pour contest mu bokk na si ñu gën a nekk ndaw
being accompanied by
yaakaar naa kooku jabaram la
xam naa ko dafa mun naa nekk mu nekk jabaram waaye xam naa dinañ jéem a confirm loolu waaye das Alhaji Kurang ngeen nekk rek gis noonu sol kos bi ànd ak gaayam yi ñam nga ñu ngi sol mbubaam bi wane ne ñam nga ñu ngi ci gannaawam mu nekk mu ngi dox war a ñëw dugga fii fi nga ne moo nekk IEC fi nga xam ne already chairman bi Alieu Momar Njie toog na moom ak vice chairman bi Joe Kori ak ñoom Sambou Jang Njie ñam ngi toog di xaar ki nga xam ne moo nekk Alhaji Mamadi Kurang pour mu ñëw joxe kayitam.
waaw yaa ngi doon laaj ci affaire yi chance ndax dina am chance pour win mooy li ma waxoon rek ci gannaaw képp koo xam ne ñëw na nga pass nomination bi am nga chance pour win ndax bokk na ci li nga xamante ne mooy criteria bi AIC di laajte pour nga mun a taxaw pour campagne sàkku li nga xamante ne mooy office njiiti réew fii ci réew mi war ngaa mun a am lu toll ci juróomi junne carte yi nga xamante ne ñooy dégal ne ñu ngi bootu sa gannaaw kon loolu boo ko amee dafa mel ni yow am na ñu la yaakaar ñii na ca gannaaw yi tamit di la puus kon yaakaar naa chance mu ngi fa te soo xoolee message bi nga xamante ne la moo génnee ci biti moom comme ni Marie Sock di waxee ak jigéen ñi moom mu nekk ndaw noonu la nekk di waxee ak ndaw ñi kon chance mu ngi fa si moom i tamit.
waaw comme noonu la ko nekk di gisee rek sécurité bi ñëw nañ pour ñu ngi def seen liggéey xam nga gis nañ ñu ngi waxtaan ak gars yi pour wan leen fii ngeen war a am war na ramba fii nii loolu ngeen nekk di gis noonu sécurité bi ñëw fii pour intimider kenn wala pour door kenn day ñëw rek pour mentionner affaire bi dem smoothly pour mën a gis ne nomination ni mu war a demee mu demee noonu ànd ak loi yar ak teggin comme si di nga fo ñaamen sécurité mo le manna jam pour ka mo buute wala ko mo silandi ina jam pour ka mesone nomination nyata kila ñaamen ani loi ta bata kana traje mo wala je ka abedam to Alhaji Kurang afrente abe dunkan ay
abaraka bake Alieu Alhaji Kurang abe dunkan sañi anala molu mi alon ko wolle ba an safo ka samana nyindin kranyinto yemen fo sécurité la karola akuma ya tabake wala na ko dunia ka tamala be kata singola sanyi lulu komanto sécurité le min nata nyindin krato nomination ba kekan mañani nyaada mimbela anem bi mañani nyaaja mimbela afatata mbe sediato amantara nyimban kunka bar ngajele na moel bini frajam polisolu anin service lal min be hormo soto buña soto ibe mobe hormo lebe mobe buña ila parenya fa ya tande ko mantar janka mosilan anunde sewo ba soto police min bi jambi parce que jorangal min fambe bulu akete jorangal mi yalonko ake kefenti mi yalonko ase dankene yandi ko nyeluye inata do ko la andi bela do ko kala wala nyam woto mol min fanam bina eso aliou pour ye ñin do kula la fana horma ye buña ñi polisol min bi jaan ñi service lan bi ñante buña le horma ibela do ko la keka e mantar jang kala mo kan e mantar jang kam mo fasa ibela do ko la keka andum kulo ni buña dron e bola tandi kam molla ñin din kranyinto woto momo bina jang kulo ni buña kilon ñande wala tilindi la woto alaji courant sañi ngaji ko be dunkan na alu ya fo ala namu nyolo woti bare ndo sede andi nyolo fala numu nyolo bare nga jiko so ko ala numu nyolo woto molmi yalon ko isa mako eno ka sene ne fala numu nyolo bare ngaje ajem fonninkelo ko kam fo jiko bala karola alaji aliu momo dunta nan jang yeyi hammole so ko lafta banko la nyinira an wo dankene yala be ko nsa tambinole woto fonninkelo atemo molti ko ngafa ko fondinkelo mat anda fondinkel tundol to wotaje aja ala kafo fa jama be mu fondinkelle nsa foge be mu fondinkellete anu abina kan be yala den ko do portale nyendo iko change wolom falindro e lefto wala falindro mi sifamu molom folo an jikita ko natara nomination fa tambita nsina long atemo falindri sifa wala bala hammoto anda wal xamme pour banko kan aliou bare be temmo min to be ngaajeɓe ɗum kanna kana futa bumbañin to mimo election house te kala kaytolta ka seedeyandi wokola sina kacañoya ko dolmin tambita jan e kacañoya te ñamin aliou.
Thank you very much, Siri. Well, viewers, wherever you're watching us from around the world, you're watching QTV, your first private TV station here in the Gambia, and we're broadcasting live from the IEC head office along the Battle Harding Highway. It is day one of the ongoing nomination for the upcoming election. Today we are having 4 independent candidates in the names of Joseph Hejuf, Marisok, Alaji Mamadi Kurang, and Matthew Gomez. City, Esorada, I mean, security, I mean, the importance of security in this whole process cannot be overemphasized. And like City had mentioned, it is important that any candidate who is coming with your supporters, you have to understand these are our brothers and sisters. They are just here to maintain law and order. I mean, they are not here to intimidate anybody, but just to make sure that things are done smoothly for the interest of the country.
I think, I mean, I concur with what Uncle Sid is saying. I mean, I've been here twice before, and to be honest with you, the mood around here, it's completely different. I mean, myself as a journalist, I feel more comfortable, and you can feel that everything is well organized. The security here, they've been very helpful to everyone coming in and out of this place, and I think it's quite remarkable.
Or is it because the giants haven't arrived yet? The huge crowd. And
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so as well.
Oh, yeah. What I've seen with the security here today, professional.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, if you're just watching, that is Alaji Kuran there with his sizable crowd, gently marching towards the electoral building.
I'm worried about if we have candidates who cannot do a long walk because they have to go 100 meters plus. So if any candidate is sitting at home watching this, you may have to go for a run the next couple of days to build your stamina because you have to do a long walk.
It's part of their security strategy to ensure that everything goes smoothly. It's why they have created this distance where you're having to park, because otherwise, I mean, the whole of this place would be jam packed with vehicles and all of that. But again, on the issue of security, important. They're comporting themselves well. They've been very helpful, you know. And for me, I think my message would go to the party militants. Anybody who is coming here accompanying your aspirant, please, let's try and maintain peace, comport ourselves well, so our aspirants will see this. See through this nomination process.
Kurang is almost here, Ansumana. Akamunta mbadingol melbe QTV jube kan hani sa influente mbale IEC Bombato dula men ko molbina kan pour kala kaytol nati pour nomination jeng comme alba je kan alaski ndo nyamen Alaji Mamadi Kurang wala bina fata kan jang IEC la Bombato dula men ko abedamento IEC chama fon Ali Momar Ndiaye abe sering pour ka Alaji Mamadi Kurang receive kala kaytol ta pour ka ala nomination. See the cigar nakasa. Yes, Sidi.
Earlier on I talked about the security in Mandinka, but just to sum it up, Aliu, 5 years ago I wasn't here, but we have seen what was happening. We have seen the type of security that was on the ground. What I've seen today, The type of security we have seen here today, fabulous, great. The men and women in uniform today are very disciplined, very professional, and very friendly, and they are doing their job well.
Absolutely.
And even the equipments that they have. I'm one person who picks on the police all the time. I picked on them that they got to do this, they got to have this, but I'm very satisfied, I'm very happy with the kits that they have, and they're doing their job excellent, excellent. My issue right now is everybody who is coming here, anybody who is coming here must respect the protocols. You are told where to stop, you stop there. You cannot go beyond the boundary. And the leaders as well, who are vying for this position, when they're coming with their people, they've got to talk to them to respect these men and women in uniform, because they're here doing their job. They are nobody's slave. Sorry to use that. And they're not here being partisan. They are not actually supporting X or Y. They're here to do their job. And that job they're doing, for me, I'm very happy with it. And I think any genuine person who comes here today and look at the men and women in uniform out there doing their job, definitely would give them, would have a thumbs up for them, because actually they are doing very, very well. I think this is really, the right step in the right direction. We have seen the Gambia Police Force and all the security, sister security forces that are here are actually doing their job. And we must encourage them and we must support them to see us through this election. It's election year, we are going through it. The whole month of November is going to be campaign. We have seen what they're doing and we must support them. We must support them because we cannot do this alone. We need them to protect us. And that's exactly what they're doing. And for the Red Cross as well, all the COVID-19 protocols have been observed. You come in, you don't have a mask,
they give you
a
one,
mask.
they give you sanitizer.
So definitely, I think Gambia have set an example for our sister countries. To see how those when it's election, we are respecting all
collecting nomination forms. Coordinating. Forward. Occupy the seats here.
Convention and treaties and stuff. We got to open up for all this. For election to be free and fair, we must have observers, not only just to come and observe the nomination, but all through the process of the nomination, the elections, and all those are important. But you see, Aliu, the issue right now, Alhaji Kuran should have been seated by 12:30, but the reason why he cannot be seated is because of the number of people he is coming on with. So that is also a hindrance in terms of timekeeping. So it is important for candidates to know, in order to have an easy, smooth process to your seat and filing your documentation, come with less people and then do the process. If you want to go and have a musical jamboree at the turntable or at the traffic light, you go and do it, but just allow the time, to respect the time, to stipulate on the time that, by 12:30, I should be seated, filing my documentation and go and have my musical jamboree.
Alhaji Kurang and his people are now walking into the main premises of the Independent Electoral Commission. As you are seeing on your screens, badingolo abedamento Alhaji Kurang apelenta bedunkan nang IEC la bombato. Musino on bodo medare QTV e wondo joni Alhaji Kurang kanko yimmi mako hebe paranade odo sudu IEC odo wonna battle hading highway kono darde QTV and then oko live broadcast woni mon adande mi musidɗo mon Aliou Cissé he Sidi Cissé Ansumana Eso Nyasi. Yes.
Baraka bay Aliou sa membe ke kan albe min je kan la television to nyin tembentu Alhaji Kurang abe dun kan bungo nyinto memo election house de wala Independent Electoral Commission alka mol min jebe dun kan nyil be mala molleti njikita ko atene mo jamale nata bari amunda ko IEC fanan ye parendro ke o lale ngamira mo fans ini mol sina no sina mo talulu ke sinde so mbete mo min do sa police olu min go kulal min bijang
observers here from the African Union who are here to observe the process. Like we always say, free and credible elections, particularly in New York elections, is a process, and this is a very crucial process as far as society is concerned. I think what we have from independent international election observers here to observe this whole process, and then together go to the African Union, the ECOWAS Parliament, and also send in some election observers to come and observe how Gambia conduct its election, because the nomination is quite very crucial. Looking at me in the United States, we are from presidency, the ITC, Joe Quentin, the Vice Chairman, the Chairman of the Executive Party, Aliou Ndiaye, waxtaan ci am na ñoom ñu bàyyi ko African Union ñëw pour observe li nga xam ne moo nekk nomination process naka la ñu parce que dafa am solo trop am ñoo xam ne dinañ bàyyi ko bitim réew ñëw seetaan Gambia naka la ñuy def seen process am solo monsieur on wonta tanda ci haajini national loro IEC man nga Alhaji Mamadou Kuram
examination and would like to receive your documents. No, let's have your voter's card first.
Original
You, yes, your voter's card.
copy or the original, sir?
Anything you have. Let's just get the papers first. put out the card.
Just give us everything.
Let them just give you everything. Give us what you have. Just
Give us everything.
submit your application. Okay, come. Yes, right.
Is this the original? No. Can we have the original?
Deposit. Look at this one.
This one is
What do you want?
we did something. Verified. Well, you can match.
And the deposit? Okay. 10,000. Okay. And what else do we have?
Campaign ethics.
What else do we have?
For a possible complaints with me, I'm not sure what else.
You don't ask for this. Put on campaign ethics.
What else can do ethics?
Say again.
You quote on campaign ethics that you have to sign to comply with the code. It was part of your nomination document.
You say shall abide.
Yes. The code on campaign ethics. Okay. Number 11.
What did he say?
Read number 11.
You'll see.
It was one of the package of the forms.
It was a document given to you.
Check in your package.
If you don't have it,
You can resubmit.
you can bring it later. But it's part of the conditions.
Campaign ethics. Just
campaign
needed to sign
ethics.
it and bring the form. If you don't have it, you
It's
can
a document that you should have
bring
signed.
later on, before the close of nomination. You can bring it later.
Your color is black and white.
Yes.
Your symbol is this.
Yes.
Your photo is this. And your official name is
Alhaji Muhammad Kura.
Well, if you don't remember receiving the code of corporate ethics, ask for a copy before you go.
You can send somebody.
Yeah. Here's the receipt for your deposit. Honorable, my pleasure to hand over this receipt and bring the remaining ones as soon as possible. And on Saturday, we'll do the scrutiny. Public will have the right to come and inspect what we have submitted on Saturday from 8 to 12. All right? So please get the other documents as soon as possible.
Code of Campaign Ethics.
And so the code of ethics. You don't have a copy? Ask, they'll give you one.
Don't see it, send somebody to my office. Later, I can give you a copy.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you. Then
Yes.
you sign it and submit it.
Immediate briefing.
Yes.
Sorry, my understanding is the nomination finishes on Saturday.
Friday.
Friday.
Saturday is public security.
Saturday.
Yes.
What happens after that?
Then we come with the list of all the qualified candidates published. What you have, you just submitted. Your documentation will be reviewed for consideration. So after the public scrutiny, the IEC will come up with a declaration of candidates who are submitted and are qualified to contest. That will be on Saturday.
the IEC list will be out this
Yes,
Saturday.
yes. So do not forget. But
That's fair enough.
yeah, perfect. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Fall downwards. I am free.
Alaji Mamadi Karang, who has just presented his nominations papers to the Independent Electoral Commission. Quite celebration here for his supporters who are cheering and, you know, expressing how delighted they are. My colleague Eso Nyasi is on the other side, where Alaji Mamadi Karang is on standby to talk to the press about, most importantly, the reason for him choosing to contest in this election and what he intends to achieve if elected as the president. Well, Sidi Yajele Avalenti Alaji Kurang Ayala Kaitol di IC chairman la Abedami to Kanana Poro Aning.
We are told that there is still one step of the process. The second process is a public viewing, and we're looking forward to that. And after that, hopefully the IEC will come up with the list. Well, we have no issues. The criteria is clear. We are Gambian citizen, we are resident, we are qualified professionally, and we have submitted more than 6,000 signatures, when 5,000 is what is required. And we have basically fulfilled all the requirements that will be needed.
Sakura,
Yes, sir.
why do you feel that Gambians, like, what do you have for the Gambians?
Well, I think I'm the right candidate at the moment. The world is going through changes. The Gambia needs to find a candidate that can sail through the difficulties that the global society is facing. Somebody who understands the economic issues, the political issues, the global issues. I have been tested and proven. For 20 years, I have operated an institution professionally, employed people, and trained more than 20,000 Gambians who are employed in every industry in this country. I understand the economic problems of the country. The major problem of the country is poverty, and this country needs somebody who can solve poverty, a problem solver. I am a problem solver. I have not been corrupted with any government. I have not been involved. I'm a neutral person. People can trust me that I'm going to deliver what the society needs.
You spoke about corruption. Transitional justice is one thing, poverty, you spoke about that, health. So in your first 100 days in office, what will be your top priorities?
Well, to tackle poverty, like I said, there are a number of issues affecting this country. We have put education on top of our agenda. The Gambia is facing major educational problems of the country. As you know, it's a country that started with an educational system that is basically apartheid. In 1965 or before that, if your father is not a chief, you could not go to high school or primary school. That system has been entrenched in this society. In this present moment, if you don't have money, you cannot get education in the Gambia College. Even if you have money and go to the Gambia College, after 3 years, you come up with a diploma. When we come to power, we are going to remove all diplomas. I'm talking like somebody, we're going to replace them with degrees. We are going to make education is what can move this country. Singapore got independence in 1965, no oil, no gold, no diamond. They have the human resources. For 20 years, I've been involved in human resource training. The Gambia needs to capitalize on its human resources to change this country. The only thing that can change this country is to make education abundant and to make it cheap for everybody.
That you will win the coming election.
Oh yes, as you can see my delegation, Kantora, Tumanna, Fuladu, Nyomi, all over the Gambia they are here. Representatives from everybody is here. The young people are yearning for change. They are going to decide this election in 2021. People want somebody who is consistent. For 20 years, what I've said 20 years ago is what I've said 10 years ago, is what I still say. Nobody can bring out anything that is inconsistency in what I've been saying in the politics and the economics of this country. I am trusted by the young people for 20 years, and I think I will deliver. Coalition, Well, we are already nominated to contest, and we are going forward to December 4th. I don't think there is too much time to talk about joining anything else.
Assuming that you win the election, how will you eradicate poverty in this country?
How we would eradicate poverty? We want to create a middle class where carpenters, plumbers, nurses, and teachers could build their own houses and have their own cars and send their children to school and give them quality education. No country is able to develop without a middle class. If you're a policeman and you cannot afford a house, and you're a teacher, you can't afford a house, you're a journalist, you can't afford a house, your country doesn't have a middle class. We're going to build a middle class by building the country, by creating 500,000 jobs for 500,000 youth, giving them quality education. I'll give you an example. If you're a mason, you can build a one-story house or a two-story house if you're a carpenter. What about if I give you a 10-story house? How many Gambians can build a 20-story house? They need education to be able to do that. Education, democratization of education is the solution to the problem of this country.
Okay, thank you.
His nomination papers to the Independent Electoral Commission, like you have heard from him, City, he has prioritized fighting poverty and education as two among his top agendas if he's elected into office in December.
Thank you
what
very
do you
much.
make of these two agendas, fighting poverty and education, that he's going to eradicate diploma? People have to go for degrees. And he talked about people not having the opportunity to go to university because they come from a poor background. Or even if you have the money, you go to Gambia College, after 3 years, what you come out with is diploma. This is something that he really wants to remove. He wants people to go in for degrees.
I mean, I just heard what he said. He talked about education. He didn't talk about the quality of education. He just talked about education. I think Gambia have been producing more graduates now than 10 years ago. So how do you defend when you talk about education, when now the number of students going to the colleges is higher compared to 10, 15 years ago? So those are things that he needs to actually explain further, how he wants to eradicate, what sort of eradicate when you talk about poverty as well. We want to know his programs, how to eradicate poverty. You know, is he thinking about the earning capacity of the citizens increasing, or is he talking about boosting the productive sector as far as the economy is concerned? Talking about, how do we get ourselves in terms of borrowing and relying on grants, and in terms of deficit as far as our budgets are concerned and stuff like that. So it is great to come out and say, I'm going to eradicate poverty, I'm going to talk about education and all that, but you must have a formula how you want to do it, and a formula that you think is not being applicable right now, that they are not actually doing it now. Because or else you're just going to be storytelling to us, I'm going to eradicate poverty. Everyone comes here and tells us that. For the last 56 years, all these parties, leaders of parties, they talk about education, they talk about eradicating poverty and all those things. But we need sound programs, and to actually make so those programs do work. These are important things for us.
Great ideas from Kurang. What do you
Indeed,
make of?
his for me, two takeaways from his from the press interviews he had after submitting his papers is, one, he's made several promises, and two, he's also talking about how consistent he's been, the reasons why people should vote for him. On the side of promises, as you've highlighted, eradicating poverty, reforming our education system, creating jobs for young people. But on the reasons why he should be elected, he's saying because he's been consistent, because he's a neutral. Earlier I alluded to the fact that, he's a newcomer in the political field. This is the first time he's coming into the political fray. So he's talking about his consistency as well. In terms of the messages he's been giving out from day one. And he's also making reference of the fact that, he has run an institution for 20 years successfully, he's saying, and Jollof Tutors, and that he's trained, over 20,000 Gambians. So for me, I think, these are positives. However, I mean, like Uncle Sidi said, for some of these promises, we have to look at them again. I mean, scrutinize them deeply. But again, if you're making, I can understand that these are very short, press conferences, and then you have just a few minutes to answer a few questions. But again, it would be important to, give us details as to how you intend to go about solving some of these challenges we're facing as a country, and how they intend to go about implementing some of these programs and policies that you intend to come up with when you assume, in the event you assume leadership of this country.
I'll come back to you. Sidi, just for the sake of our Mandinka viewers, yamoy kurang memfo ako karango Kenya, ako faling mola balwo ako kono faling. Nyinkere kuti me anako ako nyakere president nyimbe kila kuti me anako abe jubela bake. Prokaje ka mola balwo faling.
Amuto nyalti aliu alaji koraya kumakan min fojang kumakan saba asahayata ka falindro ke mola balwola anin ka karango faleng wo kumayata
jikita sai abe bokang election house le prokata
sai abe
now living the
independent electoral commission findikan election house kata jama ba noma nyinomu katre fayo o katre nyino diati ay min foka balwo falende wo kumayata pro ngalong mune itulla hamoti anila nganiyoti barka balwo doron falindro o foroto tonya bare njikita ko nen kacha warta ila karola sinin anen ni nyato membena campagne kono ibe CDRO kala fannal la ibita wato menna warande me mili bankela karan fanana karo molbe ta university tonya bar Gambia ngaje sanji tang komanto bi mo mbita ka university ne mbita ka university bi mbita ka university bi wala siata sanji tan komando woto la faro be ke kan barate lafta la fara nyamin kala wo fara njikita ko be kala CDRO anata ala kaytol be dundi njikita ko ate man sotare je follow ay kaytol men nyinen kabulu ya femfe nyinen ka ay landele bare amanda woto kis robina kelo kaytol fanana ka CDRO ke fo kaytol be timmadal wo kaytol la timmarin ko la woto ate alaji kurambina tambila ka dadum carte woteto mimbina kala disamba karo atilnani bare nyimu sewolede kaji ko Gambia dingolu bi ya hammo soto kangani yo soto ka falindro ke banko ka woto nyin carte fayo abe kala nene ma jolti nyim banko ka nene ma jo muminti wolong mol mimbe carte nyine ka asiata fulanyam fana Gambia dingolu fana hammo soto bi baake carte fayo la anum fana ilafta carte dila minna parce que follow 2016 ngaje falindro kita ballot box la Gambia banko wolon tariko follow parce que Gambia tariko kabri nsafu ngam fansoro independent la carte mam president wulindija ngajele sadawda karaba jawra bi alma ale ne man ka farka adela wulindro kita kidol la min kada coup d'état nyinti bare ngaje yaya jambe min site kidola bar falindro kita adela carte kesola wodo carte kesolo kumaya wo sediata akeda faraman so de carte kesol fam kumayata akidi kesol parce que carte keso e falindro mi yalanko bi Gambia dingo be se wota e contenta sanji lulu komando nga fole fonga muru nyinka to mo mine be muru pour mo le ya faham ko sanji lulu komando min kete jang anin service lal min bi jang anin min be ke kam bi afadadal mo man tar selanto la jang mo bi jay be ko ke ka nyanda ke la nyame wata ne ko Gambia be tamakan amantra tamaka singola falindro be ke kam banko kan amanke ko masa kundambe sirolo falindro ke Gambia dingol le fanglom bi ka falindro ke bankoka yalo ni ko moye fanlong amanke ko yenene barbi njikata ko aliou Gambia dingol ye fanlon ila fallon wolo yalon ko Gambia banko mun tolle tati amanke mandinka tati amanke fulla tati amanke sarahulete si tante nyim banko Gambia dingol le tam walatina momo bina jambi carte kase kelene be bulu carte kayte kelene be bulu iman signi siranka iko alaji kura ite muneti mandin kolomba fufulol mu fo jolalo alaji kura Gambia dingolum alaji kura Gambia carte kayto wol babul alaji kura Gambia carte kase killing wala babul wodo kummaade pour nga bambandiko njeng mbete momento bi Gambia dingol lebe banko nyini kan amanke surwade amanke mandinka amanke jolade amanke fulade alaji
thank you very much Sidi SOS silo gata rek dek nga alaji kuran limu wax mu ngi wax bugam pour muna gis ne mu jema dolel bunti janga bi muna daaxal nga mo nek ñaaka ak yoy nonu
waaw mom ci limu bayel ci waxam ci ñaari faduna la ben dafa diggé joxe ay promise ne su fekkee ne yàlla wërsekal na ma falu dinaa def lii ak lii ak lii ñaareel bi mooy dafa wax tamit lan moo tax mu foog ne Gambien si war nañ koo mën a óolu dénk ko réew mi moom ñu njëkkee ko ci promesse mooy lim diggee wax na ne moom su fekkee yàlla def na mu falu dina daaxal li nga xamante ne moo di ndóol ñàkka pauvreté génne ko ci réew mi mu wax tamit ne dina dimbale ndaw ñi ñu am li nga xamante ne mooy liggéey mu wax tamit ne suñu wàllum li nga xamante ne mooy jàng système réew mi ci ni ñoo jàngee loolu dina ko soppi te waxut nag naka la ko defee waaye wax na ne am na éni bi pour gis ne am nañ ci li nga xamante ne moo di coppite yoo xamante ne dafaa indil nit ñi lii di yokkute ak njëriñ ci wàllum jànga ci li nga xamante ne moo ci lu moo sukkandiku moom lii tax foog na nit ñi war nañ koo mën a óolu dénk ko réew mi mooy benn wax na ne moom kaddu li nga xamante ne moo doonoon kàddoom démba ba tey loolooy kàddoom te moom musuta dugga si politique lii mooy njëlbeen yoon muy bokka ci politique kon moom nit ñi war nañ koo mën a óolu mu wax tamit ne wéeruwut ci gannaaw benn parti wala benn parti falu ko pour mu ñëw toogal leen fii ne dafa sàkku li nga xamante ne moo di réew mi kon moom war nañ koo mën a óolu jox ko réew mi ñettal bi mooy ne moom am na kuréel boo xam ne moom moo ko sos di ko doxal ñaar fukki at ak lu tegal te jàngal na ci tamit lu ëpp ñaar fukki junne yi ndaw yi nga xamante ne doomi réew Gambie leen kon moom mu ngi sukkandiku ci loolu boole ko li nga xamante ne la moo digg askan gi ne yaakaar na looloo tax nit ñi war koo fal def ko li nga xamante ne moo di njiiti réew ci yeneen juróomi at yuy ñëw kon ci gàttal lii moo doon li nga xamante ne moom Alhaji Mamadi Kurang wax na koy tamit ci gannaaw bi nga xamante ne pare na ak ci yamaan mu ñëw jàkkaarloog taskati xibaar yi.
Well, if you are watching us, we're broadcasting live from the IEC headquarters along the Battle Harding Highway. It's day one of the nomination ahead of the next election, and so far we have received nomination papers from 3 independent candidates, Joseph H. Juf, Marisok, and now Alhaji Mamadi Kurang, who have just left the premises of the Independent Electoral Commission after presenting his nomination papers to the Independent Electoral Commission. Well, as usual, as we already know, CD, when they are coming, they will also bring along their campaign itinerary. This is what will help the IEC to be able to reconcile all these itineraries to ensure that there is no fracas or whatsoever during the campaign period, which is quite important as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is very important because it helps in maintaining peace as well during the elections period, because we know these are very tense moments, and to have two aspirants or two candidates, I mean two campaign teams meet, I mean at a particular spot is really not advisable. I mean security wise it's not even advisable as well. So to avoid any clashes, the IEC would take all these campaign itineraries from all the aspirants, try to reconcile them and make sure if candidate A is maybe in Sukuta, then the next candidate would be somewhere around Basse, and that is how it's going to be for all the candidates. And I think, I mean, having gone around the country during the last elections, during the campaign, I think this for me is very important.
Sidi?
Yeah, I mean, like Eso rightly said, that is a process. They may not supply it today, but they have to supply before the official campaign period. That is why when it is official campaign, political parties and candidates who are in the election do not have to apply for permits at the place. The IEC is responsible to issue permits. When you say permit, is to do their programs. Each of these candidates, when they pass the nomination stage, they have to supply list and times of where they want to be across the country, and each of them would supply, and the IEC would go through the process to see that party Y and party X do not meet at Brufut at the same time, or Sukuta, or Badibu, Sali Kenye, or Busumbala. So that has to be done. And also, Ali, we must emphasize, since we're talking about peace and a peaceful election process, the peaceful campaign, political parties too must respect themselves. We must say this. We cannot feel shy away from this. If you said you are going to be at Kombo Gunjur on a Friday at 2 p.m., no matter what, you be there.
On time.
It's important.
And if your time states that you're going to be there between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., no matter what, that is your time. Leave. You got to leave. And the police and the Independent Electoral Commission must emphasize that and must put that to them, because usually those are things that bring isolated incidents. I am supposed to be here between such and such time. I refuse to leave the ground, and here comes another party. There can be a problem. And when that problem happens, we may not know how, that problem will last. It could, escalate into a serious problem. So it is important for, they will all have to sign code of conduct. They will sign, or they may have already signed it. But if they have not signed it, they would sign code of conduct after the process of the nomination. And they must stick to time. It is often said GMT Gambia may be time. I hope and pray this time round, these people who are coming here presenting themselves as candidates would not behave the way and manner in terms of timekeeping. They will respect the time. Interestingly enough, all of them seems to be here on time. So let them respect the time when they go around on their campaign, or else they will infringe into somebody's time, and that can lead to commotion and problem. And we don't want that.
Thank you so much, Sidi. Well, viewers, you're still watching QTV. Like I said, we are broadcasting live from the IEC building here along Battle Harding Highway. I am Aliu Sise with my colleagues Eso Nyasi and Sidi Sise. We'll go for a break while we wait for the arrival of the last candidate for today, Matthew Gomez.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
to build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
Light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell Q-Power code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With a touch of your fingers,
with ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with *363#.
Q-Power, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
Jalbendi no woduno gila fuɗɗode aduna on no tawa e gurdam men hiɗen yiidi jalbendi fi gollen darnen awen piiji men ɗin fiyi en kadi ɓe anduɗa hiɓe ɓatti en ka ɓernde jalbendi weɗinanay en piiji men ɗin fo ɗum waɗi QCell sansani en no sodirten Q-Power ha pari weɓini ɗe ida wawi sodude Q-Power no yawiri hendoɗa cash power ma on no yawiri e oɗo QCell code kesol fi jalbina aduna ma on waɗu dial *363#. ɗon e ɗon a wawai sodude Q-Power hara no weɗi haysi tahiɗa ko gollata ka galle ma e kala dulamo wonɗa. Q-Power jalbingol aduna ma on. QCell suñu boss menen udditi lawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki. nga noro tarale birin duniya be datila adaben na baluwo konole nsulata noro pour kanna dokuwol ke kanna bungol lo kanna fengol fi hanin fanan kanna kanuñol je noro ka kuwol sone yande woto QCell ye Q-Power sanya kutole nati isela cash power sotono katabake anin yin QCell la yin code kuto ila dunia malandi anin yin *363# katabake hanna tara ibela suwo kono ila office ko anin dulalo *363# kumandi sign Q-Power ki la dunia malandi QCell suñu boss ntolle nga silo walang do. Now with Aji Bank you can make your vehicle number plate payment payments without any hassle. Walk into any of our bank branches or agencies located at Banjul, New Joswang, Karaba Avenue, Bakote, Tranquil Brusubi, Brikama, Basse, Farafenye, Numuyel or Garawal. Your number plate payments now made easy with Aji Bank. For more information, please call us on 422-8405 or 377-5811. Aji Bank, your investment partner.
Join the Gambia's fastest growing network and enjoy high-speed 4G LTE. Dial *335# to subscribe to QCell's 4G LTE service. There's no need to swap your SIM. QCell, Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow.
Ibesila suone yaringola nyini kam kela kodota kabonam bantala banko kang kiumoni aniria ya suone yandale saing aniria isela kodota no kabonam bantala banko kang anin kiumoni anu ita venjola ibeki baro soto layla